Good morning, seventh graders. This is Mr. Farrell, and I just wanted to take a moment here to go over with you the lesson from yesterday. And this is for those people who had a chance to go over it who may have not been in class for one reason or another. So let's get started. So today's what I'm doing is this is a demonstration of how I want you to take notes. And so on your screen right there, you see the kind of looks like your notebook or your composition book. And so I'm going to make an adjustment here, come down. Okay. So what I would expect is that every day that when we go over a lesson, either in person or a remote lesson or an independent lesson, I expect you to take notes on that lesson. And this is how I will structure the notes for my lessons. I'd like your name and the date in the upper right-hand corner. And you might be saying, well, why do I need to do that? I know who I am. That is true, but I'm trying to get you to kind of learn how to organize your materials and your things, because that way you can go back and say, oh, on that day, back on September 10th, Mr. Farrell went over expectations. So that way you can find it. And the way I structure my lessons is the same. I always have a focus, a let's statement. Like, for example, let's go over expectations. And because at the beginning of the year, this is the time that I need to communicate to you what I expect. And that way you know what I want you to do and when I want you to do it. So let's go over expectations. So we have a focus. And the next step then is for us to do is have a process. So here the first step in our process of expectations is to go over the growth mindset. I believe in the growth mindset, and it is to try, fail, and then try again. And so by doing this, you're learning how to struggle through and persevere through to the end. Now, there's going to be a lot of things that come up in remote learning at the beginning of this year. Lord knows I've been having a lot of issues here lately myself. It's taken me this is like the 10th attempt to get this video down. And for some reason, Screencastify, the program I use, and I were fighting, and it was winning. So but I think I got it now. So the growth mindset. I'm sorry about that. And next, pacing, bringing yourself to the party. So what this means is that I want you to learn, you need to learn how to be responsible for yourself and do the work. In a remote learning environment, you are responsible for you. I am here via email. I will talk with you during Zoom meetings. I'm here throughout the whole week. And so I'm here, I'm ready to help, as well as all your other teachers. But like, for example, you need to bring yourself to the party. So you need to have a pencil and your notebook ready when you have class with me and your other classes too. And you need to do the assignments in Schoology. And I love to check out things off my checklist. So we went over that. What's next? Attendance. Again, tagging on to bringing yourself to the party, you have to go into your portal every day and for every class and sign in and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down and then also leave comments too. Like, for example, I saw some students leave some comments like, I forgot my band instrument, or I'm having a spotty internet. Give this kind of feedback to us teachers so we know, and we can be supportive. Zoom meeting, we have etiquette, as we've talked about yesterday. Come in and your teacher asks a question, please respond using your audio. Video is optional, but if you do use video, please make sure to check your room to make sure it's school appropriate, as well as we want to see your face, not your pet, cat, or dog, as well as be respectful to other people, and we'll learn how to coordinate and talk in meetings. The polling and the chat features I'll be using more to kind of get feedback from students during the lessons themselves during our Zoom meetings. And then in the future, we'll be using breakout rooms where I'll actually separate you with other students into small little groups where you can have discussions and work on activities and problems together. And last but not least, the expectation is that Schoology is your one-stop shopping. What that means is that everything you need to be successful at Jefferson Middle School this year, you will find in Schoology. Things like for my class, assignments, announcements, updates. I'm learning how to use it also. So please bear with me. But for right now, like for example, the assignment for this lesson, you'll find in Schoology. So Speaking of which, let's talk about that now. So here's your lesson. Would you rather, let's see if I can get myself up there a little bit higher. Okay. Would you rather? Would you rather have a stack of quarters as tall as you are or $225 in quarters? This is an activity that I want to use because one of the things I want to teach you this year is how to think and talk mathematically. So take 3 minutes of quiet time, think time, no writing, and ask yourself this question. What do I need to know to start this? What kind of questions can I ask myself to get started to answer that question? Would I rather have a stack of quarters as tall as me or $225 in quarters right up front? Stop the video, pause it for a few minutes, write down some questions, and then I'll share with you some of the questions that the rest of your classmates had yesterday. Okay, we're back. So I hope you took a few minutes and wrote down some questions. I know you weren't supposed to write during the think time, but then you were supposed to write down questions. That was a trick question. So what we have here, so some of the questions that they talked about yesterday that I wrote down was, matters how tall you are. Very good. So that brings me to think mathematically, well, what kind of concepts are we talking about here? Are we talking about fractions? Maybe. Are we talking about expressions or equations? Well, might probably involve an equation. And also too, but it's really about measurement. That's what we need to think, because that word right there is a clue, tall. So as soon as I think of tall or small or big or large, I'm thinking of measurement. So some other questions came in. Another student said, well, it matters how thick quarters are. Very good. One student said, give me the $225 because I'm short. I could see that point. So, and then they started talking more about, well, how thick it is relates to how tall you are, but then got to move from like feet to inches. So now we're talking about measurement conversion. And then they also mentioned that 4 quarters are in $1, which I think we all know. And and then another student brought up, well, 900 quarters is equal to $225. How'd they get that? Well, I think they multiplied 225 by 4, because as I mentioned, 4 quarters in $1. So they were able to convert from quarters to dollars, so then they could start getting some kind of ideas. So let's see what else we have here. So here we have questions to ask yourself. Well, what is my height in feet? Well, for example, using myself, you may ask yourself that question. I'm 6 feet 1 inches tall. Okay. The next thing you say, well, then how do I convert feet to inches? Well, how many inches in 1 foot? 1 foot equals 12 inches. Okay, we all know that. No, that's not the same as that question. That goes down here. Okay. And how thick is a quarter? Well, to do something like this, I have one word for you, Chromebook. Use your Chromebook, get on Google, ask these kind of questions, because that's what you have it for. It's there for you to access information. Now, do I want you to use it to solve all your problems in your homework? No. Do I know you can do that? Yes. But you need to bring yourself to the party and you need to be responsible. So don't fall for that. Give it a try, fail, and then try again. But in this case, how thick is a quarter? Well, I looked it up on Google. A quarter is 69 thousandths of an inch thick. That's pretty thin. But still, if I see a quarter on the ground, I'm going to pick it up. So now I know how tall I am, but I don't know, but how tall am I in